I am so glad you made it. Welcome, LifePrin's operator. This is where the real juice is. As discussed in the previous human operating system training, there are many bad ways in which we're set up to learn how to evaluate ourselves. And so this is going to be super powerful for you. Many of us learned our evaluation methods in terms of an outside-in model to see ourselves through the eyes of others, and therefore end up allowing others to define our model of the world. Whether this is your parents modeling what you need in order that you can receive that attention, you can receive love, you feel like you belong, or then when you go to school and you're evaluated in terms of your intellectual performance, how much you can retain and repeat in order to determine whether you're going to be successful or not. Okay, and so we set up all of these evaluation models, and what we learn is that we learn to measure ourselves outside of who we actually really are. We look at other people's markers in terms of what they have done in order to be successful and where we're at in relationship to their success. And all these models are allowing ourselves to measure what's outside. It's an outside-in model. And so we start to judge and we start to persecute ourselves, or we start to say, hey, that's not normal, there must be something wrong with me. And we start to also even demonize our bad behavior or our bad attitudes or even our bad mindsets. So what happens again is this outside measurement. It's the same thing as expecting everybody to be able to drive a Ferrari, okay? We measure everybody according to the same standardizations, okay? But it's impossible for everybody to drive a Ferrari, and it's impossible to drive your 4x4 as if it were a Ferrari. And especially if you're driving in an off-road mountain pass, you certainly don't want to be driving like Ferrari. Yet we have these standardized models that we expect everybody to live up to those same expectations and those same standards in order to be. Even in the mental health model, clients are measured on a standardized baseline, right? There is zero consideration given or taken into account for this natural survival in the world, or what we like to call our protective mindset. So what's normal in order to have a stress response in terms of behavioral measurement? And this has really been demonized. It's been considered shameful. We don't want to look at ourselves, and it's something that we don't feel easy to discuss with others because we think there's something wrong with us, we're damaged, we're broken, or there's something undesirable in there, okay? And so I want you to just allow yourself, I want you to give yourself permission, okay, to perhaps have a different perspective, a different viewpoint, when we actually dive into your personal performance profile to really have a look at what is my baseline, what is my full spectrum of potential, both within a growth mindset and what's also natural for me to experience in a protective mindset. And what we're going to explore is, as we go deeper, is we have these different performance profiles and patterns that we use, different tactics and strategies when we engage in our life. And these natural performance patterns and profiles have both a natural, protective, and growth mindset. And so we can begin to see in which domains in our life we're using in terms of our performance profile. And the baseline gives us that full extent in terms of what's natural for us, what we need to triple down on, what our talents and our gifts and our abilities are. Because many people actually grow up learning that they have this vehicle, this cool vehicle that they've got, but we all learn that we need the fuel in order to get the vehicle to work. And so it's the same thing as a lot of people have their cars in the garage, but they never ever really take them out and drive them because they don't understand what fuel it needs. And so to be successful, can you imagine driving on the road without understanding what the rules of the road are? Right? You could end up going into oncoming traffic. And so this is very much our experience of life. Not many people are brought up given the rules of the road in terms of their human operating system. We're always allowing other people to define our models of the world. And what happens when those models are polar opposite to what it is our talents and our natural abilities are? What happens then? And so I want you to really discover what car you're driving. Because for most people, they're taking their vehicles and they're taking their cars and they're going to the petrol station and they're making the petrol station, other people, situations, or things responsible for the fuel, for giving them the fuel so that they feel fulfilled in their life. However, we know that this then gives the control to other people. Other people are then in control and giving us that fuel. And so this is a very disempowering situation. What we want to do is be able to turn it from an outside in to an inside out model where we don't want you to go to other people, allow other things or situations to be in control of how you feel. We want you to be able to be an energetic generator of your own reality, not an environmental reactor to what's happening in it. And so, what we want you to do is actually turn you from the vehicle into the fueling station so that you are able to generate your own fuel because you know exactly what your personal performance profile is. So, I want you to discover what kind of car you're driving around in. What are the performance outputs? What are your natural talents and abilities? And I can promise you one thing. Here's the thing, if I'm driving off road up a mountain pass and it's all gravelly and there's bumps and there's all sorts of ditches, I don't want to be driving my Ferrari. I want to make sure I've got a 4x4, or I want to make sure I'm with someone that knows how to drive a 4x4. So just remember, don't judge yourself or marginalize yourself here. Life is not a pair of elastic pants. It's not a one size fits all, even though we may have thought or been measured on that standard. And so I want you to discover exactly what it is and give you the ability to be able to fully evaluate what your mindset, and based on that evaluation, then be able to enhance your performance so that you can evolve your experience of life to one that is fueled by fulfillment, where all actions are passionate and purposeful towards what it is that you desire for your destiny. So welcome to your LifePrint personal performance profile. Let's dive in. You're going to want to come to LifePrint.systems will be the web page where you will access your personal performance profile. You will then go into already a life printer because you have your personal profile login access key. Using your email address and password that you set up on your payment profile, you can sign into your personal performance app. Then what will happen is you'll get an OK to print, and you can print your entire performance profile, a 21 to 23 page document in which you can basically go through your performance analytics and is a very quick, easy user guide to carry with you, to read before you go to bed, or to even give your partner to read so that they will know exactly what it is you need in order to feel valued and fulfilled. So the first thing you'll notice in your personal performance profile is it's been populated with all your information. Your age will give reference to your life cycle. And that's really where you want to start, is what life cycle are you in as a human operating system developing through its as you grow and as you age and as you mature as a human being. So you go through different developmental channels. So your focus from say 0 to 9 in the initial stages are completely different in reference if you were in your 20s or in your late 30s or whatever. So that is really where you want to start. When you hover over, it'll give you a whole script and tell you exactly what is the focus, what is the altitude of awareness, what is necessary in order to focus on right now, so that you can best take advantage of what is needed or necessary in order for you to feel fulfilled and valued in as it is within this life cycle. Then, like Russian dolls, a doll within a doll within a doll within a doll, each year you'll progress through that life cycle, and that year will have an energy or focal point associated to it. So for instance, this is my LifePrint personal performance profile. I use it as a desktop and I check in every single day to make sure that I can take advantage of what energies I'm in terms of the relationship to what's going on in my reality. So as you can see, I'm in the life cycle of personal independence and freedom. And so the driving need right here for me is about freedom. How can I get the variety? How can I experience more freedom in my life in terms of whatever aspects I'm looking at? These are holographic. So whether it's financially, whether it's within my marriage, whether it's within my business, whether it's within my health, all of these things I'm looking at in terms of how can I create more freedom, variety, and adventure within those areas. The more I lean into that, the more I'm going to feel more fulfilled within this current life cycle that I'm in. Then what we have is during that life cycle, we go through different focal points in any given year. So last year is not going to be the same for me as this year. There's going to be a different focal point. So you can see those Russian dolls now, but it's all going to be relevant to my current life cycle. And so you'll see for me as I roll over, this year is about achievement, acknowledgement, and making certain decisions in my life as it leads to my life cycle, which is about more freedom. So what am I going to accomplish? What are the things I need to finalize and finish off this year? And what do I need to make sure that I'm being accountable and responsible to finishing in terms of the relationship to me wanting to experience more fulfillment and freedom at this life cycle? So am I showing up? Am I accomplishing what it is that I said I would in terms of all of those support systems? Then, as you can see that Russian doll getting smaller, as I go through each month, there's another focal point as it relates to that year and as it relates to that life cycle. So now what I'm looking at is this month, there's a lot of opportunity around, a lot of harmony. What are the things that are going to come up that I need to pay attention to create more harmony and opportunity so that I can ensure that I'm meeting my acknowledgements, my things that I want to achieve this year as I move towards more financial freedom. And we can even take it into the further one, into those little baby dolls, in having a look at each day. And so each day I can have a focal point. Okay, this is the day that I'm in. This is what I need to finish up today. These are the things that I need to look at. And every single piece that we jump over will give us a relationship and a little script to read in terms of what is it that are the things that we need to be focusing on today. The next thing we want to do is we want to be able to have a look in reference to when were our most challenging days, or perhaps we had something come up in our life that was very traumatic. Well, or we've got something that we want to plan in the future. Well, we can come and actually map those dates up here and see in relationship to where I'm going to be on what day. So for instance, on the 28th, I can see I'm going to be having a very different day, and we can start mapping different days and different months and different years to certain meetings or meaningful memories that we want to create in our life.